It's coming home and rule Britannia, though it appears only England is represented when the world of Pokemon finally sets sail to Britain. Unless of course you count the mountains in the north as Scotland. Yes, they turned the cities in my homeland England upside down, but more on that later as we have a trailer to go over, football stadiums to visit, and see what has been upgraded and downgraded from Pokemon Sun and Moon, and let's go, inside Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Inside Pokemon Sword and Shield, our show counting down to E3 and the eventual late 2019 release of the game. Pretty much like we did with Inside Zelda, Mario, and Smash, but that was then, and now it's time to do the same for Pokemon. In this first episode, we will take a look at some of the upgrades and downgrades based on the reveal trailer, plus give a general understanding of England, the region of Galar. On to the trailer then. And the first shot is where we start in rural Galar, or a typical English village with stone and half-timbered houses, windmills, and the Route 1 of Galar. And for now, let's stick to this village to keep things in order. And Sun and Moon. I am joking. Since this village is also where you find the house from where you set out on your great quest to become the Galar Pokemon League champion. And just like in previous generations, you can choose to play as either a boy or girl trainer. Your village, like most locations in Galar, has a railway station, a Poké Center, but also surrounding your nearby lake, a purple house where your local professor and the starter Pokemon are waiting for you. Close to your house, you will likely also find one of the forest areas the game has to offer. Over to gameplay. Since the first downgrade compared to Pokemon Let's Go is that there appears to be no wild overworld Pokemon. Instead, random encounters are back, which I have to say is kind of a bummer, since we really enjoyed the Pokemon roaming around next to you. On the other hand, the game looks gorgeous in HD, and unlike Let's Go, but like in Gen 7 and every generation prior, we will be able to battle wild Pokemon with, say, this brand new Pokemon, or obviously battle other polite trainers and rivals. It also appears that we will have some more camera control around our protagonist, and hopefully full camera control as hinted in the trailer, since the Nintendo Switch Joy-Cons have two analog sticks for a reason, one for controlling the character and the other for the camera, just like in Breath of the Wild and Super Mario Odyssey. Moving on to the rail, which will most likely be the main and by far most British mode of transportation. That will bring us to a red brick industrial city, which could be Manchester, or as birdkeeper Toby pointed out in his video, Salisbury. Perhaps a blend of the two to get some northern traits into this city. Why do we say this? Since the main clock tower and the red bricks resemble closely the industrial and crude style of a classic working class city. As you may know, the Industrial Revolution began in England and spread over the next century to the entire world. Based on this historic fact, it shouldn't come as a surprise that at least one industrial city would make its way inside Pokemon Sword and Shield. You know what also had to make its way into a Pokemon game set in England? Football stadium gyms. Though, for some reason, it is fully walled in, and the same goes for the other big cities found in Galar. What are their purposes? We will get back to that. Before we leave this industrial city, we have to go over the starters. Scorbunny, which is a fire-type Pokemon, and based on the looks and name, a big fan of football. Sobble, which is a little shy water-type Pokemon with the ability to blend in with the surroundings. And finally, Grookey, the grass-type monkey or chimp Pokemon, which is just adorable. All of these starters look really promising, and we can't wait to see their later evolution stages in Sword and Shield. Time to move beyond the industrial city and head north, or is it south, to rural lands and the grass-type stadium and gym. Yes, as previously mentioned, all the gyms on the path to the Pokemon League in Galar are located in football stadiums, or if you prefer, Pokemon stadiums. This is a brilliant move by Nintendo, as nothing screams more English culture than a football stadium and pubs tied to these. Speaking of, where are my pubs? And pint? Well, Pokemon is a franchise made for both young adults and children, and if there are any pubs, which let's face it there have to be, then they will likely serve a very dark coffee and should be located next to the Poke Centers, as you can't have an English village, town, or city without pubs. Just look at this map. There are as many pubs in England as there are churches in Poland. By the way, the area surrounding the grass gym or stadium is clearly based off of Stonehenge, and a less mature version of the Carnabass Giant, which we had to censor for obvious reasons. Interestingly enough, these two are located in close proximity to Red Brick Industrial City, while in real life, they are both found in southwestern England. Perhaps Toby is right about Salisbury, and most of the game being set in southwestern to southeastern England. And as for the Carnabass Giant, it has been there since the 16th century, and there are 3 theories as to what it depicts. The first theory is that it is a parody of Oliver Cromwell. The second, that it is of Roman-British origin and is meant to depict Hercules with his club. And the third theory is that it is of Celtic origin and depicts a Celtic god. Another interpretation is that it depicts a Danish giant invader who is finally beheaded. Knowing Pokemon though, this one will likely turn out to be some mythical Pokemon or a tale about invaders from another land. Since if you know your history, later the Normans headed by William, the soon-to-be conqueror, invaded Britain back in the day and claimed the throne of England in the Battle of Hastings, also known as the real Game of Thrones. Perhaps in Pokemon Shield, we will face against Norman or Roman-like invaders or an evil team. The latter is what was suggested by Mr. Buddy in his England region video. Then we have the mines. England is famous for its coal industry, so they fit really well into the game, and add an underground layer to Galar. In Galar, we are now heading further down, or is it up, until we reach another big city in the middle of the land, which, if we are only stuck in southern England and want to be Scotland, then this could be Windsor Castle, the most famous medieval castle in England. Nothing has been shown from this castle, so we will save it for some future speculation. All of this is leading somewhere, but where? The answer is rather obvious when you look on the map. It's London and the Pokemon League. There's only one obstacle: the wall. Yeah, they totally turned the physical geography of Britain upside down, but at least we got this charming winter town where the royal rule of Galar is clearly shown with the crown banners. By the way, did you know that Pokemon Sword and Shield was originally supposed to be called King and Queen? Yes, Stealth on Twitter shared this story and communicated that the Pokemon Company and Game Freak changed the title to avoid the title of the game being gender-based. The more you know. Based on the map of Galar, we know that this town will host the Ice Gym or Stadium. And since we are on the topic of stadiums, the trailer showed 2 scenes from inside of them. And the last one, where the male trainer wears a league shirt with the number 227, which naturally is a reference to Pokemon Day on February 27th. While the Pokemon League Stadium will most likely be the world-famous Wembley located in London, which can be seen with its arc on the very top of the map of Galar next to the Victorian buildings, the Big Ben and London Eye are clear, real-life landmarks. Overall, this trailer was way better than the title drop for Sun and Moon in 2016, and matched that of the reveal of Pokemon X and Y in 2013. The only question that many have been wondering is on whether Galar or England is too small for a Pokemon region, and that the game might have a surprise in the form of a revisit to Kalos or a journey to Ireland after reaching London. Both are possible, as this game marks the great Pokemon transition from handheld to console and from 240p to HD. Until E3 though, it seems that what was shown was more than good enough, and we really hope to see a Nintendo booth at E3 based on Galar, or say London if they decide to reveal footage from the main biggest city in the game in the Nintendo E3 Direct. Here's hoping, since we will be there. It is also highly likely that the game with the title of Sword and Shield will blend well in a booth with Fire Emblem 3 houses, only instead of 3 houses, there are 3 new starters, and naturally, Animal Crossing. All 3 3DS immigrants to the Nintendo Switch this year. Now then, the reveal trailer of Pokemon Sword and Shield also included a number of Pokemon battles in and outside of stadiums with both new and old Pokemon. But you know what? We will save these and a more intricate take on Galar in future episodes. That's right, Inside Pokemon Sword and Shield is the successor to Inside Pokemon Switch, and will in its first season up to E3 contain an interesting take on the different regions. All of this hosted by our English voice talent Leo and channel creator Conrad, plus special guests who will take you around and deep inside Pokemon Swords and Shield's Galar in the coming months, at E3, and then throughout the second half of 2019, all the way to and after the release of the game in late 2019. Psst, our bet is on a mid to late November release, as per usual for Pokemon titles. So to not miss any of this greatness, make sure to like this video, smash that subscribe button, and press that shiny notification bell, and for all notifications, to not miss any of our upcoming episodes of Inside Pokemon Sword and Shield, which will be uploaded on a regular basis each other Monday from now on leading up to E3. So make sure to subscribe and help us on the way to 200,000 subscribers. Only 14,000 remain, and when we reach it, there will be some big surprises and projects in store. Finally, we want to thank all our gracious patrons, and in particular, royal producer Kenyatta Ali on patreon.com/commonrealm, where you can also join and claim your perks today. Anyhow, until the next video, this was Joseph of the Commonwealth Realm, and we will see you girls and guys soon.